I don't know if she's going to destroy Caitlin Clark long term. She's going to destroy Caitlin Clark short term.
Wait, there's a problem. It was one of Caitlin Clark's worst games ever. Additionally, it appeared as though the entire team had forgotten how to play basketball. However, this may not be an isolated incident. Fans are now discovering something crazy, so this may not be about rust either. A quotation, possibly an old remark, from Stephanie White herself.
Yesterday, what we seen displayed out there was a rude awakening to a bunch of fans. Stephanie White's style of coaching is not for Caitlin Clark.
And now, things are beginning to make sense. To put it mildly, this is not the first time she has treated a superstar in this manner. What just came out alters everything, so you'll want to see this.
Today, what we seen displayed out there was a rude awakening to a bunch of fans. Stephanie White's style of coaching is not for Caitlin.
The court had a fever yesterday, and something felt strange once more. However, they weren't only let down this time. They were finished. "I will never watch another Fever game again," said the majority of them. "I purchased Clark's tickets, not this bullshit. They're robbing us." Under the Fever's most recent post, those are actual comments. Coach Stephanie White, who arrived with promises of structure, chemistry, and victories, is at the center of this storm. Instead, she caused tension, misunderstanding, and outright sabotage. Now it's really evident. Caitlin Clark's team is no longer this one. The system belongs to Stephanie White, and it's a shame if you don't fit in. What precisely transpired then? Why are her fans criticizing her? Stephanie White's agenda against Clark. Okay, let's jump right to what caused this whole thing to blow out. Because Stephanie White's anti-Clark bias wasn't limited to her post-game pressers or game plans. Months ago, she revealed herself to Luka Doncic. And everything about the Caitlin Clark incident makes way too much sense after you hear what she said. This behavior is nothing new really. There is a trend here. Let me now read the actual quotation to you all. "You see," she remarked, "the Mavericks simply play differently when Luka isn't playing. He is a man who uses a lot of drugs. He's holding the ball. That ball is in motion when he is not on the ground. It's popping. All players are stepping up and participating in the action. Now stop. What is..."
The post also includes a quote from Mavs radio announcer, "Lower usage rate from this year."
Additionally, you need all three to go all out when it comes to the playoffs. However, they're using a superstar as a bench warmer because of the Fever. Like a fifth option, Caitlin Clark is being shut out of the offense. It's not simply poor coaching either. That's deliberate. And now, guess what? The pieces are starting to fit together.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Like, it is you can sucker punch a team once off. That's all you're going to get, though, is one off.
She sees you as a problem rather than the answer if you use the game a lot or if you have the ball in your hands a lot. A playmaker is not what she wants. She desires a framework, and you're out if you don't fit within that system. Luka was not safe because of this, and Caitlin Clark is having problems for precisely that reason. Clark always appears hurried, strained, and out of sync while she's on the court because of this similar mindset. She hardly receives any contact. No one is accompanying her on the break. She must battle for each and every point. Caitlin isn't acting badly here. This is an incorrect use of Caitlin, and the outcomes are in front of us. There are just 500 Fevers. Clark's shooting percentage is low. Her influence has also diminished. And who is to blame for that? White, Stephanie, because she won't do for Clark what a wise coach would do with a talent that has been passed down through the generations. Move aside and place the ball in her hands. The facts are truthful. You see, facts are truthful. Furthermore, it is undeniable that the Mavs fall apart when Luka is not playing. Likewise, Caitlin's fever goes away when she is benched. The myth of the whole more ball movement sans stars. Unpredictability may work for a quarter or perhaps a game, but you don't build a championship team on it. Your best player is the foundation of it. And you know what? That player is Caitlin Clark. And Stephanie White was still unable to see it, just like Luka was. Caitlin's poor return technique. Just take a look at what transpired yesterday night in case you believe this is some old Luka clip from the archives. When Caitlin Clark returned, she played one of her poorest games of the season. Furthermore, it wasn't merely a poor shooting night. The team as a whole looked awful. Why? since nothing has altered. The same coach using the same Luka logic to work through yet another flawed game plan, the same system, and the same offensive are all still in place. I'll reiterate what I've already said. For you to even compete when you have a huge three, two of them must appear.
All right, so that means that one of the big threes always got another big three's back. Some games, like against the Lynx.
And when it
Carolyn Peck, Stephanie White's former coach, is publicly stating that the Fever are more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. Hold on, what? Where does White get this crazy basketball perspective, in your opinion? Together, they took home a Purdue championship. Peck joined White's Vanderbilt staff. For years, they have been following their system over the superstar mindset, and, to be honest, it has never worked. White had a disastrous Vanderbilt run.
Does Stephanie White have an agenda? Her coaching style is influenced by her NC2A championship coach, Carolyn Peck.
Thus, when someone queries, what's causing Caitlin to appear so uneasy? Why does she feel as though the system is destroying her? You know now, though, the same may be said of Stephanie White's past performance. She had 23 loses and 7 victories. Then 24 loses and 7 victories. Back-to-back catastrophes.
Look, Peck joins White's staff at Vanderbilt. By the way, she ran everybody out of Vanderbilt.
Does that sound familiar? Yes. That's what's going on in Indiana at the moment. Caitlin needs to improve her game, they say. In actuality,
For the good of basketball, it has to be Stephanie White. For the good of basketball, it has to be her.
Stephanie White should either coach less or more intelligently. It's possible that Clark is putting up 12 and 25 every night. She could be lighting it up from deep and leading the league in assists. She might represent the WNBA both in terms of production and branding. However, she is being transformed into a corner shooter instead. Without any assistance during transition, she is sprinting off the ball. She is recording meaningless minutes without any rhythm or self-control. Development is not what this is. It is obvious that this is sabotage.
It doesn't matter if she's a great coach.
Let's complete the circle. According to Stephanie White, the Mavericks performed better without Luka. She is currently leading an offense that improves the Fever in Caitlin Clark's absence. Do you recognize the pattern? This has nothing to do with Caitlin's inexperience. Adapting to the professional game is not the point. It has nothing to do with time. It concerns a coach who sincerely feels that a flowing offense with lots of mid-range bricks and missed open layups is more useful than a superstar. And that's how you destroy a generational player before she has an opportunity to thrive. The supporters are aware of the reality, but they continue to reject it.
Threatening to quit watching the Indiana Fever basketball. Fans is threatening to quit going to the games. And if this was to happen,
because you can sense what's going on even if you're not a basketball analyst. Caitlin Clark infuses vitality. She contributes spacing. As soon as she reaches half court, she intimidates the opposition defense. But what is the strategy? Put her on a bench. Disregard her. As if it were 1999, let others lead the attack.
was to happen, I hope not. But if this was to happen, Stephanie White is to blame.
This is obviously not team basketball. This is an ego game. Stephanie White wants to establish a point, but at what price? Because she is currently harming the entire league, not just Clark. I'll tell it one more. If you're watching, Caitlin is being broken by this system. Additionally, leave a free Caitlin comment below if you think Steph White is pushing this squad into mediocrity. Inform the front desk that the fans are taking notice. I'm reaching out right now. All right, I'll refrain from upsetting Caitlin.
Way this stuff could change is if we, the fans, voice our opinions online, in videos, and make it loud enough so the front office can hear.
Additionally, make sure to subscribe for more WNBA news and updates. To ensure you never miss anything, we upload new films every single day.